Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on Monday, March 6th, 2017 at 1600 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Next week it'll be 1700 in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time, because we're going on to that awful Eastern, or the Daylight Savings Time stuff. Yeah, I know I'm probably in the minority about, disliking that. But it wouldn't be the first time. I think my candle's a little crooked there. These things don't quite fit really securely in the base of the. Now there, see, I knew I was going to get messing around with this thing here. Okay, that looks better. I mean, they burn wonderfully. They don't drip wax or anything, but you got to get them straight, I'm going to have to order some more of those from Walmart. Those are nice. Well, today in the mail, I finally got my CME materials from the New England Journal of Medicine for their continuing medical education program. So I'll be working on that about 2 to 2.5 hours every morning here the next 8, 9, or 10 days. And then after that, I get to do my taxes. So my YouTube activity is probably going to diminish here somewhat during the month of March, as it did, well, last year, and I think the year before that. Now, today's major issue was, I've been getting a number of comments. People are watching my stuff for the first time saying, we like this, I like it, I subscribe, look at my channel too. And YouTube thinks that's spam. I don't call that spam, I just call that a nice compliment. Some guy took the time to watch and write something. I mean, that's not spam. That's not like one of these, fuck you, go away comments. Now I take that to be spam. But language has different meanings for different people because people think differently and hence use language differently. So I want to acknowledge that I've gotten subscriptions from txlilstar, all lowercase, 63, and Kim Williams, standard spelling, capital K, capital W, space between the two words. And then, and to the 3 other people that whose comments are still in the spam thing, and I can't get them out. I mean, I've tried. I even did about 2 hours doing a Chrome thing about how to get spam comments into your comments and approve them. And indeed, I'd been doing all the suggestions. I'd already been doing the suggestions. And at a certain point, it became like Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So it's not like I'm blowing you off, guys. All right. Well, while I was in the midst of being puzzled by that, Paul came over for his weekly visit. I didn't take any video of this week's visit. Well, because I had other things on my mind, frankly. But he talked about a problem with the hotel. It's very strange. They have a laundry chute that they dump the duvet covers and the sheets and things down the laundry chute, and it ends up in the laundry room. Actually, I think it ends up in a room like 2 doors down from the laundry room for whatever design reason that happened at this hotel. And in the last week or so, these sheets have been coming out of the, well, it's not consistent, it's not uniform. Sometimes they come down with oil streaks and grease streaks on them. Where's the grease coming from? Where's the oil coming from? Mystery yet to be solved. Sometimes they don't appear until they come out of the dryer with these things. Did that mean they just didn't notice them when they put them in the washing machine? So they've been having to buy an awful lot of these extra duvet covers and sheets because they're not going to have people sleep on these, greasy sheets. I couldn't tell if it was actually like motor oil type stuff or lubricating like a tractor type grease, or if it was at one point he said it was like a clear grease. You could see through the sheet then when the grease was on it. Odd. He and I watched the better part of the Liz and Henry visit video from the other night, and unlike my usual habit, usually when I put something up, I watch it before I put it up. I had not watched this thing after I had spliced it because I wanted to get to bed because I had to read in church the next day, and I will say that I had no idea that these heaters sounded up quite as loudly as they came across in that video, because usually when I do this I turn them off. Like right now they're turned off. So for that noise I apologize. Again, I will reiterate, watch Ed B's channel because I was trying to show Liz some of his stuff. She ended up walking home because Henry had gone off in her car with her keys in the car. So she didn't have any keys to his car. For some reason he had left his keys to his car. So his car was still she left his car in the driveway and walked over across, crossing that muddy, rough area there between the curb and getting into their driveway. But she got home safely. And when I got home from church Sunday afternoon, the car was gone. So actually he may have come over and collected it later that night while I was still in bed. And it was gone. I don't think anybody stole it. Oh, well, here. Now, Tony Pincham has addressed this in his most recent video, and I urge you to look at Tony Pincham's channel. But this is the icon of St. Peter that he sent. Well, he sent me, but he sent it to the church, and he just mailed it to me, and I transmitted it to the church. And the rector came over to me yesterday morning before I read at the 8 o'clock service and said, he had the icon. He says, I didn't want you to think that we had forgotten about this. And I said, I didn't think you would. And our 200th anniversary of the Articles of Incorporation is coming up on I think technically it's May 9th of this year. May 9th of 1817 was when 11 people formed the original St. Peter's Church. And Philander Chase was the Bishop of Ohio. He was the first Bishop of Ohio. Philander Chase planted a number of churches in the central Ohio area. I think we are the 4th or 5th oldest Episcopal church west of the Allegheny Mountains. for what that's worth. But in any case, I mean, you know, yeah, that's kind of spiffy. In the United States, anything over 200 years old is spiffy, or can be. But so he and the vestry have decided they're going to dedicate this and hang it when we celebrate the 200th anniversary on the Sunday nearest, which will probably be May 7th or possibly May 16th. You know, coming up here. He says we've decided we want to hang it in a place where it is easily visible. He said we don't want to hide it away in a corner. We didn't want to put it in the side chapel. We wanted to put it where it's highly visible. So I'll be interested to see what place they decide, you know, where they select to hang this. Well, I talked about the YouTube spam thing. Okay, so the last little bit of fun from reading in church yesterday was at the 10:30 service, because I'd read it both 8 and 10:30. I was dead tired. You know, I only got 5 hours sleep the night before, you know, after Liz and Henry left. I was wiped out. But nonetheless, one soldier's on and does one's duty, and as Dean Caswell would say, duty first. I'm up there quite unexpectedly. I let out completely involuntarily and without warning. You know, suddenly without warning. This big fart. Yeah, here's a fart joke during Holy Communion. Ha ha ha. But anyway, I did, and the little girl who was acolyting, you know, next to me, she sort of started and looked around, and the Reverend Highland paused ever so slightly in his recitation of the Holy Communion. I just stood there very serenely, like, we all know the smeller's the feller. This was basically just a, you know, basic carbon dioxide odorless fart. This was one of these methane vapor-laden bad boys. So on that note, there's St. Peter looking serene. And here is, if sex is a pain in the ass, then you're, oh, I love it. Oh, do you love the misspelling? You're doing it wrong. And that's true, guys. That's absolutely true. So I'll say bye-bye, YouTube.